Welcome back to what I believe is our fourth edition of the Bellarmine Wrestling Show here on WJHI. Keep tuning into this. I'm real excited to have back Coach Ned Shuck here. And since you're here and we got on the screen Thad Huff, I was at this meet. I think I even sent you a picture from way back in the crowd of it because it was pretty awesome. I just want to start off asking what the first picture is here.
Yeah, so we got a celebration picture here. This is one of the coolest things about the sport of wrestling. It's so emotional, right? There's a ton of emotions that get into the sport, both moments like this that are just awesome to celebrate and to be able to just kind of feel that thrill of pinning somebody, kind of like the knockout punch, right, in a boxing match. And so this is one of those where, yeah, the team had a big win. It wasn't just a win for the match, but it helped our team win the duel. So really cool moment for our entire fan base and especially for Thad and one of his many pins he's gotten this year.
Yeah, we got to go. You had your youth night, I would call it, youth night there. So we took our wrestling program. We had wrestlers there from K through 12, and just giving our Jeffersonville High School plug, we took them out to the lobby, and there's a big mural, some past athletes, and you have Jeremy Kendall up there, who's a JHS grad, who is the MVP of the national championship when Bellarmine won the D2 national championship.
Awesome.
So our kids got to see that. They got to see that Jeff has some presence at Bellarmine, and our assistant coaches Tom Bartle and Nick Stewart were on the mic for that.
That's right.
I know Thad's up there, nationally ranked in pins. Do you know where he's at right now?
He's at 13 pins right now, which I think puts him either at the lead or I'm not sure what happened here over the weekend. We did not compete this weekend, so I'm not sure if anybody passed him up yet or not. But he's had a lot of pins this year, and he wrestles with a really exciting style, and obviously he's very dangerous. So we're really happy to have him.
Yeah, I've never got to meet him in person, but my sister-in-law, who works with you, I guess was in your room the other day, and I said, "Hey, have you met that heavyweight?" And she's maybe, I don't know, 5'3", 5'4", if she watches this, and he is huge. He's like the Hulk. So I think it was really cool for little kids to be there because they got to see the Hulk win that. And, but speaking of competing, I know fairly recently you guys competed in the National Coaches Wrestling Association duels. It happens to be held here in Louisville, Kentucky, which is awesome for your fan base and wrestling fan base in the area. How'd you guys do there, and what'd you think of it?
Yeah, it's a really cool event because it hosts not just one division, but every division outside of the traditional old school. They used to have Division I national championship right there, and so we get to compete in the club nationals. We're in the NCWA division right now while we're finishing up our transition to Division I, and things went really well. But it's cool. You're wrestling right next to Division II, Division III, NAI women's teams. They're all there, so it's a huge event. It's a really cool arena to have it, and having it at home is awesome. We wrestled 6 duels there and really wrestled a dominating, style there. We wrestled a lot of offense and scored a lot of points, and the team had 6 wins that were really in control, and it was fun, man. It was fun having that back-to-back duel setting. Which hey, at our home duels, it's cool to be able to have that, but having 3 duels one day, 3 duels the next day, it just really helps that team kind of stay connected, and we're progressing, we're advancing the next round. It's always exciting just as you move through, and we end up winning the national tournament, so that was pretty cool. Yeah,
that is awesome. Jeffersonville had 2 kids wrestling in it, one from Ancilla Junior College and one from Indiana Tech, so I just like to throw those in there when we're doing this, and we've had former Jeff wrestlers wrestling in there with it. So you guys are the NCWA national champs?
That's right.
NCWA national champs right here in Louisville, Kentucky. And just for viewers, I know if they're a basketball fan, they already know why, but why aren't you guys in the NCAA tournament yet?
Yeah, so we're still in our transition. So we're serving our 4-year, moving from Division II to Division I. There's a 4-year transition period that the NCAA makes happen. Nobody can really explain why it is what it is.
In any sport.
But we're getting through it, and this is our 3rd season. So we'll finish up this season and next season before we get to compete in the SoCon which is our conference qualifier, SoCon National or conference tournament to get into the Division I NCAA tournament.
So any recruit watching right now would come in and before their junior year be potentially wrestling in the NCAA tournament, which would be the right timeline for their age anyway.
So they'll actually, yeah, I mean, anybody that's a senior right now coming in for our class, they'll redshirt 1 year and have all 4 years of their eligibility to compete in the NCAA tournament. So
that's awesome.
So kind of just the guys that are at home right now, already in the room, they're going to miss a year. But anybody else coming in after this, so the fall of 2023 recruits will have all 4 years of their eligibility for the NCAA tournament. So we're excited for that. We've gotten through the worst of that for recruiting and not having to explain that. But yeah, we wrestle with and we compete with a can't wait attitude. That's kind of our mantra. Can't wait. We've shifted to move to that, and so we can't wait for a lot of things. I tell them, hey, can't wait for the next point, can't wait for the next situation, whatever. But we also can't wait for that first opportunity to compete in the conference tournament.
Yeah, can't wait for the next pin. That's what we got
right.
That duel.
Yeah.
Speaking of that duel, I know last Friday night, I was listening or watching on television, and my two assistant coaches were over calling the Queens match. Looked like a good crowd for a home meet.
Yeah.
What took place there?
Yeah, so we wrestled Queens, who's also in the same boat we are, transitioning into Division I, and so we had handled the duel pretty solidly. We guys wrestled really hard, a lot of offense, and just the attacking mentality really showed in terms of wearing out their opponents, putting points on the scoreboard. We got a lot of opportunities for bonus point. I don't remember what the final score ended up being, but we lost one match in that duel, so won 9 out of 10 weight classes. And like you said, we had a good crowd there, so so that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I've started noticing, obviously, the high school coach's schedule. It's hard for us to always be at your meets, but when I do watch, I see lots of local, wrestling shirts. When I say local, nice 30-mile, 40-mile radius of shirts there. So the word is getting out.
Yeah.
But from there, you guys had another meet in the SoCon. Right, over VMI.
That's right.
Which I think is a huge win for the program. VMI has a deep wrestling history, especially being a military school like combatant. So I thought that was a big win. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. We definitely think it's a big win. Last year they handed it to us pretty good my first year, and it's really cool to see that turnaround from I think they put up 30 points on us last year. And we did not put up that many points. So to be able to turn that around and come away with a thrilling victory, that was really cool. That was really impressive just to see all 10 guys. We had some guys kind of fall off and then do what we thought they were going to do, and we had other guys step up and pick it up. And so, again, just kind of created that excitement for that dual meet atmosphere. And we started off at 184 by our choice, and it was pretty interesting. Our 84-pounder we got a lot of faith in. We ended up getting pinned, which we were not expecting, and every step of the way it seemed like we were kind of losing some team points until 133. Trace Ekman was in the double rideouts, the last 30-second rideouts for college overtimes, right? And the kid got away to give him kind of the victory, but Trace ended up taking him down with like 5 seconds left. To end up beating them by a point. And so that was a really cool moment, similar to this one. You get to celebrate and flex on the on the crowd a little bit, do the little singlet press. But that kind of really changed the momentum for us. And 149, Zach Cowan ended up getting a tech fall for us, and then 157 was huge. We were behind in the match, losing I think 2-5. And not really controlling much of the action, and ended up getting a big move and pinning the kid. And that was kind of the catalyst for us. And we left it up. Our final match was our senior, Devin Hendricks. And so that was pretty cool for him to seal it off for us and help us get the win 20-19 over VMI. And
20-19.
So it was really cool just to be able to finish it off and to have your leader. He's not a senior for us, senior academically, but has a couple more years eligibility. To see him finish it off for our team like that and get a win over VMI was big. It was really big.
Yeah, I know we had regionals the next day, and I know in our wrestling room at weigh-ins, I could hear some kids and coaches. I know my two coaches that were calling the match, but I could hear them talking to others, and I just thought it was really cool that like the word's getting out there. And I could hear other high school wrestlers that probably didn't get to come to that. They're sleeping in,
Yeah.
or it's a ways to travel, and they were watching it online, and I just thought that was really neat. But speaking of that, I'm going to go off script for a second. I watched some pretty awesome interviews and stories going on. If you're watching and you're a wrestling fan, you know Flow Wrestling's a huge deal. What was that like having probably, I don't want to put down any other wrestling thing, but probably
Sure.
the biggest wrestling media second to WJHI in the country there, knowing that Bellarmine Wrestling's there? What impact is that on the program, and what was that like?
It was great. Having, two guys that were there with us in campus was Andy Hamilton and Kyle Klingman, two guys I've known for a long time, and I've always loved what they've done for the sport. So it was awesome now with them being at Flow and coming and covering our program to give them kind of the history of how, we've come to be where we're at, and to see the progression that's happened along the way. The former coach got a chance to talk a little bit about, Spencer Adams got a chance to talk a little bit about the history and detail a little more, which is cool for them too, but also got a chance to talk to our athletic director, and Scott Wiegand got a chance to talk a little bit about the future and what that looks like for him, what his expectations are for our program, and then we got to talk a little bit about women's wrestling with him too. So it was really neat, a big exposure for our program to see that, and the social media world ate it up pretty good. So I think it was a big hit and great awareness for a lot of recruits and wrestling fans to know what we got going on right now, and hopefully it encourages people to get on board to get behind Bellarmine, but also get behind other Division I programs that are young and just getting going.
I think between that and what you're doing with getting guys on the national rankings stage with pins and stuff, I mean, it really just gets the word out there. Some kid in Florida or California can say, hey, where's this Bellarmine at?
That's right.
Which is very awesome. So what do you got coming up next? I know Friday, Saturday there might be home meets. We're at semi-state. We leave right after school Friday, so I wonder who's calling your matches. I wonder if they're driving separate. But what do you got coming up this weekend? Yeah,
so we got Friday night, we got another home duel against Campbell. They're right up there, probably 1 or 2 in our conference. A really solid team. A number of their guys on their team ranked nationally in the top 25. And so really excited for that challenge. It's going to be a dogfight. Those guys wrestle really hard too. And we obviously pride ourselves on being able to wrestle really hard. And so I'm really excited to see how our guys, match up with that challenge. But it'll be great for people that want to come out and watch some Division I ranked opponents against Bellarmine. Hey, they get a chance to do that and see where we stack up. So really excited for that. And then the next day we wrestle the Citadel, who also last year, kind of had their way with us. And so seeing, again, another step for us to kind of see, all right, hey, where are we at? How much have we improved? Have we stepped it up? And I'm really looking forward to that one as well, having Saturday at 5. Both of them will be in Knights Hall again. So a couple big duels in the conference, Friday, Saturday, and then we only have one more home one on the 23rd against Presbyterian. So we got 3 more opportunities to come watch the Knights.
I don't want to say names because I don't want to get them wrong, but I know if local wrestling fans are watching this dual meet, not only will you have some Indiana guys on your team, being Jeffersonville being in Indiana, but the Citadel has, I think, even some coaching staff and some wrestlers from Indiana. So you'll see a lot of local names on there. Then I think we've covered all our questions right now. One question I would like to throw out there, and I'm sure we'll do another postseason wrap up and how RTCs and freestyle and Greco and all my favorite type of things. What is next as far as how does a non-NCAA competing team wrap up their season? Yeah. And what's the first thing you would do in the off season?
So similar to our national duels, we got to compete in the NCAA national duels. So we actually have a national tournament that we get to compete in through the club organization. So we'll have a regional tournament. It's up in Toledo, Ohio. That's right after our last duel, so late February, early March, and that's when our second week of March will be our national tournament. So the team gets to travel to Puerto Rico, which is pretty cool. So we'll bring our 10 guys down there to Puerto Rico to compete at the club national tournament. So guys are looking forward to a little bit of early sun, before it hits here, and so the guys are excited for that. But other than that, we're transitioning right away into freestyle and Greco training. And that's we got some things in the mix. We have some people locally that we're really excited to be working with our RTC program. We got a guy that's it's been very successful for when he wrestled for Cuba and helped coaching at Cuba, and so we're really excited to get him involved. And obviously, Momir's been local and been a part of our program, so hoping to get him more involved a little bit as well. So a lot of things that we're looking forward to. The seniors that are the high school kids that are wrapping up their folk style state tournaments and all that. They're going to have those opportunities to come in and train for us if they qualify for the RTC. So it's going to be another great outreach for us to kind of get in the community and people to come, and work out with us.
Funny when everybody says, "Oh, you're done with your season. Are you ready to relax?" And you're like, "Oh God, it's the hard part. All season's the hard part." And if you need a commentator to travel with you, Coach Stewart's
he's our guy.
Family is from Puerto Rico.
Oh, so no doubt. There we go.
Find some home cooked meals. Well, I want to thank Coach Shuck for coming in. One more look at our picture of the national pin leader, and hopefully he picks up 2 more this weekend. Good luck this weekend at your duels.
Awesome. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you.